Welcome to Jazz Time! Jazz Time is an online store that buys, sells, trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so our customers can easily choose the best watch for themselves in the comfort of their own home. If you like this watch and would like to purchase it at the lowest price anywhere online, click the link in the description below to buy it at jazztime.com. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Rolex Cosmograph Daytona in white gold with a steel-colored dial, reference 126509. I want to talk to you a little bit about the history, then talk to you about where this watch stands in the lineup with respect to the other ones similar to Daytona. And then I want to talk to you about the case, bezel, dial, bracelet, movement, and finally try it on and give you my final thoughts. So let's start. This is the Rolex Daytona, which is Rolex's most iconic line of watches. They make many different sports watches. They make the Submariner, the Explorer, the Yachtmaster, the Sea Dweller, and a lot of other ones. But I believe, and I'm pretty sure I will convince you by the end of this video, that the Daytona is their most prestigious line, and it's been around for quite some time. And they also have the most variations of the Daytona. It's a massive seller for them. It was released in 1963, so that makes it, as of 2024, something like 60 years old, something like that. It's been quite some time. 50, 60 years, somewhere around there. So it's been around, and there's tons of different variations of it. Now, why is it called the Daytona? As I understand and read that Rolex was trying to, they had their most complicated sports watch, which was a chronograph, which checks the lap times, and they were deciding between they wanted to call it, and they make it something that had to do with racing because it's calculating lap times. So originally they were considering the Le Mans, but America at the time, and still is their biggest market, so therefore they wanted to make the name something that has an American appeal to it. And Le Mans really wouldn't do that. So they named it after the legendary race Daytona. And that was a very good idea because this watch did very, very well. And I don't want to say it put Rolex on the map because almost every watch they make puts themselves on the map, but it certainly was an influence in the rise and the Daytona and the popularity of the Daytona race itself. Okay, so that's a little bit about the history. Now let's talk about where this watch stands in the Rolex lineup. Now, Rolex is making their Daytonas with many different variations, as I mentioned. They make it in stainless steel, yellow, golden steel, rose gold, yellow gold, white gold. And they have it in all different bezel combinations, and they have different bracelet combinations. What you're looking at right here, I was just about to say stainless steel, but it's not stainless steel, it's actually white gold. So you're looking at white gold. It is the precious metal version. And I forgot, they also make it in platinum, by the way, if you got the money for that. And so they make it here in white gold, and that's what you see. But anyways, this is the white gold version. Now, it kind of looks like steel a little bit, but the steel ones, they don't have a steel bezel on them. They actually have a ceramic bezel. The older ones did have a steel bezel on them, but the newer ones don't. So if you want to get some monochrome look, well, you will have to go with the white gold, at least if you want a recent one, and you will have to go monochrome with it. So these white gold versions, they come in 3 different variations. The steel dial or silver dial, a black dial, or a black with diamonds. Those 3 are your options with this. And they used to have some other options. Actually, I think it was blue, something like that. It was a blue dial, which actually got discontinued, but that was, again, an older version. They don't have that anymore. Now you just have the steel or silver dial. And I think they actually make this with some diamond versions of it, or some mother of pearl or meteorite version, something like that. But as of this 2024 variation, they only make the 3 versions that I listed. Okay, now that was a little bit of where the watch stands in the Rolex lineup. Let's talk about the case. The case here is 40 millimeters, and that's from my thumb to my index finger, the longest distance across the bezel. And now, well, you might think that's a little bit small for a sports watch. And well, actually considering the average sports watch ranges between 40 and 44, but 40 millimeters does not include these pushers. And the pushers, which are part of the watch, I'm not sure if they don't include that, but with the pusher, it makes the watch look much bigger because some people have complained that the Daytona looks a little too shiny. I personally don't make that complaint. I think it looks just right where it is, but the pushers, I just want to tell you, they make the watch look just a little bit larger to give it some heft and a good sporting appeal. Anyways, that is the case, and they use this Oyster case. It has a screw-down case back with a winding crown. Okay, let's talk about the bezel. Now, the bezel is also actually unchanged from the previous generation. Now, they have changed the bezel in this new round of Daytonas, which started back in 2023, but they don't have the metal bezels are exactly the same. The entire part is metal. On the ceramic ones, though, they did have a little bit different, but they just put an insert. But okay, anyway, since we're talking about this one, this bezel is unchanged. What is changed, though, is the dial. In the previous generation, they also did have a steel dial or silver dial, gray dial, whatever you would like to call this. But the dial does look slightly different. Which parts? Well, the hour markers. The hour markers are now shinier and longer. And the subdials, the tracks that go around the subdials, these little tracks, they are thinner. They were actually bigger and more bulky before, even though the size of the actual circle is the same. And also the hour markers were shorter and fatter before. Now, you might wonder why that is. Well, it actually gives, first the Daytona was released, it looked more like this Daytona, in the sense that the hour markers were skinny and long. And that made the watch more streamlined. As it evolved over time, the last generation, which I think had 10 or so, let's say 2010 or maybe 2015, until 2024, it had like a 10-year run. So at the time, it looked like it was the evolution of the Daytona, but it proved not to be true. Rolex decided to go back on their roots on how the Daytona was originally designed, and actually, I think it looks better. It gives it a little bit of a more retro feel, yet with all the high quality futuristic, not quite futuristic, but the high quality and using the materials and technologies of today. All right, and now that is the dial. Let's talk about the bracelet. The bracelet is an Oyster bracelet. They don't have the white gold with the white gold bezel on any other bracelet. If you want to get a rubber bracelet, you have to change the bezel. The bezel will become ceramic. So anyways, the bracelet, they don't offer it in any other option. That's what it is. It is their standard Oyster bracelet, and it is a very good bracelet. It is a very sporty bracelet. It has the Easy Link Comfort Extension, 5 millimeters. It has the Easy Link Comfort Extension for 5 millimeters, which you do not need a tool to change the bezel or change the size of the bracelet, which is very helpful if you ask me. Okay, and what else? Yeah, well, the bracelet is done really nice. It's a fold-over safety clasp, by the way, and that is good because the clasp will not easily come undone, at least by accident. Okay, now let's talk about the next part, which is the movement. The movement is also updated. It is now a 4131 movement, and it used to be a 4130. And now you might be wondering, okay, what's the difference other than a 1? Well, it has a longer power reserve up to 72 hours. Before, I think it was only 48, and it is also more precise. And also, if you look at the finishing on it, you can't see it here, but it does look quite a bit better. The older one looked good, but it looked classic and kind of dated, to be honest, so they fixed that. And now you have this beautiful movement that is hidden behind the case back, except on the Platinum Daytona. Okay, now let's move on. Let's see which part. Oh yeah, let's try it on. That's it. That's the end of the video. So it's time to give you my thoughts on it. I am 6 feet tall, 200 pounds, and I have a 7.5-inch wrist. I think the watch, the Daytona, is my favorite, and that is for sure. I don't know why. Well, actually, I do. Because I like the complicated watches. I also like the sportiness of it. And actually, I also like it in white gold specifically. I'm going to make a case for why would you want to buy this watch, or at least why would you want to buy this watch? Because this watch is already drawing a lot of attention. But when you wear the yellow gold or the rose gold in those precious metals, it attracts even more attention. And having it in a white gold is a little bit less. People still know what it is, but it just draws that little bit less of attention to yourself, which sometimes is a good thing. Let's say you're in, I don't know, Compton, downtown Hollywood, and you just, you don't want to draw so much attention to yourself. So a yellow gold, a rose gold watch would not be the thing to wear in downtown LA, So anyways, I think there'd be a good case to be made as to why you would want to wear the white gold. And also, when it comes to the dial, I'm kinda torn. They have it in a black dial, and I actually don't mind that one more. It's pretty nice in the silver too, but I gotta say, if I had to choose between the silver or the black, I would probably... Okay, honestly, I would go for the silver because I like the monochrome look to it. It is very nice, and it's not totally monochrome, having all these contrasting subdials too. So anyways, that's my thoughts. I like this watch, and if you like it too, you can buy it at the lowest price anywhere online, or by just clicking the link in the description below.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to model as seen in video, click on it, and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazzTime, plus the brand, model, and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.